So we're in Clovis, California. We just are taking a look up in an attic here at some Uponor piping. This is one of the old manifolds they use. It has multiple ports coming out. You can see they've used 2 of them, and this is the hot system. It's got a recirc pump down at the water heater. So they have 2 of the ports are just capped off right here. Other 2 going out. Unfortunately, what you've got right here, hopefully, it's so fine it's hard to see it at any angle, but it's split right at the coupling, the manifold. You can almost see it there. And let me see if I can get you, do something to get you a picture of that so you can see it. There's my finger. So now you can see it spraying everywhere. So that's piping hot water. And it's split right on top of this fitting, which ties right into this block. So the whole block has to come out. Everything's close to close. They didn't leave us any room to repair anything, unfortunately, because you can't cut this and get back in here. So we got to come all the way back to here, cut it, put in a new 1x1 by 3/4 T, another 1x1 by 3/4 T, and then right here we'll just put 2 1x1 by half T's to tie these 2 1/2-inch lines back in, and then we'll get it turned back on. Everything else looks good up here. The cold's right beneath it. I don't see any problems with that, but we're going to cut this whole section out and then give it to the homeowner. They can take it to Uponor, mail it off to them, get a hold of them, and see if it's covered under warranty. Outside of that, we will take another video when we're done. So we're still here in Clovis, California, up in the attic, and we've got the old manifold out. You can see the one on the bottom. It used to be called Wurzbo, and now the company's changed their name to Uponor. And the block in the first portion of this video that was up here, which was the hot side, developed a little fracture in the 1-inch where it connected. So we showed you that sitting right. Basically, it would be there, except for on the hot. So that's the same thing as the cold right down below it. So everything tied into the block. All the lines that came out of the block had to be disassembled, and of course, it's sitting over on the platform, and you can see that in the first portion of the video. So anyways, the only lines we had to tie back in were the 2 3/4 lines and these 2 1/2-inch lines. And we don't use those blocks anymore. They have flow-through manifolds now, which are similar to the T's right there. It's just a fitting and it flows straight through, and it has ports, not like that where the ports are up and down and back and forth, and it's a big thing as you mount. It's a real streamline now, so this has been probably 15 years ago that these are being manufactured. You could probably still buy them now, but we don't use them. So anyways, we cut the pipe back, and you can see 1x1 by half T, and then a 1/2-inch line coming over here, and ties in with a little coupling. Sorry about there's no light right here because the flashlight's kind of sitting up on a shelf right now in the attic. And then of course the next one, 1x1 by half T. And then it comes over and you can see a coupling right here. And then of course right there, 1x1 by 3/4 T. That line was long enough, we didn't have to put a coupling in it, so we just curved it up and around, tied it in, so that one's good. And then the last one, which is over there, 1x1 by 3/4 T, and of course that one as well, didn't need a coupling, we just cut it and tied it back in. So all the points of connection are back in. We're going to let it sit for just a little bit. We're going to go ahead and get everything out of the attic, get things kind of straightened up out here, get things put away, and let it sit for just a little bit. Then we're going to go ahead, turn the cold water back onto the home, go ahead and turn the hot water back, the cold water back on at the water heater to refill the tank because we drained it down somewhat through the relief valve. And then we're going to go ahead and plug the pump back in, get the clock set, get the timer back on, and so it can start circulating the water again. But we do want to let this sit just a little bit because it is a hot water loop, comes from the water heater, and I'm not sure where it goes in the house. It heads off in that direction there. You can see it takes off, and at some point it comes back, and I don't know where, but it comes back, and it should be insulated. It looks like right here, you can see that line, the 3/4. So probably the 1-inch takes off, plumbs the house, or goes, at least goes to the furthest bathroom. That's usually the way plumbers do it on a loop. They just take it to the furthest bathroom, then bring the 3/4 back, and you can see it's insulated right behind me. Kind of dives down in here, and then back up, and heads back over. You can see it kind of snaking up and down the gray foam insulation, and then it heads back over to the water heater. So as a side note, and this is no put down to people, you know, you do what you can do, but the piping, anybody's piping, I don't care which manufacturer you're using, the pipe is supposed to be strapped every 30 inches. So you can see the framing. These trusses up here, they're 2 foot apart. So anytime you see, you know, truss, that's 2 feet. Well, if you can't strap it at 30 and you have some framing, you know, here, then strap it every 2 feet. But you can see most of the lines in the attic, that's floating a good 2-4 foot before it gets over to there, and then it floats up another 5 foot, and all the pipe just coming around here. It's just, you know, and a lot of 1/2-inch lines you can see over here, strapped against the wall over there, and then they just loop down, you know, over here, and they're just hanging. They're just bouncing around in the breeze. So whatever, not my installation. I wouldn't be proud of it. I mean, I like to use the straight length of pipe instead of, you know, we got coils of tubing right here for repair purposes, but I like to get the 20-foot, the straight pieces. And I was going to mount something on the wall, you know, I'd just, you know, put a line in, one below it, keep it all nice and level and neat, so when you came in, at least it looked like you made an effort. But anyways, so I'm ranting about that. Anyways, we'll get cleaned up out here and turn it back on. If everything is good, this will be the final video. And any trouble, of course, we'll document that when we get done. Outside of that, we are good. One last video. This will be for purposes of the homeowner. We're trying to get some pictures up here of the pipe, but it's hard to get a clear snapshot. So what we're going to do is go ahead and hopefully get light, and you can see. So, gosh, it really reflects bad. So right there, you can see where's Bow Aquapex 1-inch, and then the number SDR9 B1375 potable. And then the stamp, and then of course the ASTM, and so you can read those numbers all the way down. I'm not going to read them all, but not getting still shots of it. It's too hard, it's just going away. So anyways, we'll include this in the documentation as well. So that's existing 1-inch piping. There's other piping up here, 3/4 and 1/2, and this is the cold side. The hot side, it's all blurred out, it's all gone, but it's the same piping from the original installation. So we'll get this to you this afternoon.